Ladies and gentlemen, let's Red Game Intercom video. Let's discuss Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. And the resolution gate would appear to have reared its ugly head again. A couple of you messaged me asking me to cover this, so, well, I'm covering this. This started when a user or two actually tweeted the co-founder of Sledgehammer, Michael Condrey, via Twitter, obviously. I'll also point out, I've done this in an article, if you want to click on it in the video description, if you want the links to the original sources, or if you want further opinions of my own on this whole subject, you're welcome to. But anyway, getting back to the subject matter at hand. Anyway, Michael responded to the tweet. The tweet basically said, will it run at higher resolution than Ghosts? Because Ghosts was 720p on the Xbox One. And he said quite simply, yes, higher than Xbox One on Xbox One than Ghosts. That was it. So if you're expecting me to tell you the resolution, from him anyway, we don't know. But wait, there's more. So despite the fact he didn't provide clarification as to the final resolution, we do know, well, most likely know, that Microsoft have actually stepped in to help. Tidux, who is a well-known insider, and some of you might be rolling your eyes, I've given a link to his Twitter account, or more specifically the status of his Twitter account, and he actually said that Microsoft have stepped in, just like they have with Destiny, and just like they did with Diablo 3. He said, and I quote, SG has problems with the devs of the Xbox One version of COD AW. MS is on the case and is trying to help you get to the same level as the PS4. I took out some of the Twitter speaks because saying hashtag every other word makes me really sad inside, but you get the basic gist, I would assume. So, bottom line, Microsoft are most likely, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is not, idle speak from an industry insider. I personally would believe this. I think it's quite a good rumour and quite an obvious, yeah, this is most likely really happening. And Tidux, for the most part, is on the money. So let's assume that this is pretty accurate, and let's assume the Microsoft are in Sledgehammer's offices, beavering away. Well, they're possibly not even in the offices. They're probably just looking at the source code for all we know. But whatever their process is, well, probably not source code. That be a bit generous, but you get the idea. Anyway, there's a couple of points that I think we need to cover before I close out. The first is that obviously the PS4 does have a large horsepower advantage. But that wasn't really exercised too much in advance in Ghosts either, because, okay, the title was 1080p, but it wasn't 100% stable on the PS4 at those frame rates. And having briefly had a stint with the PC version, I only played it around a friend's house, if I'm totally honest, and I only played like the first couple of levels. But his system was fairly reasonable. I don't know his hardware specs offhand, but I think it was like a 670 or 670, 680, something along those lines he had, and a reasonably decent Intel processor. I think it was some type of i5. So it wasn't like his specs were bad, and despite that, the game just didn't run well. And this is on a high-spec PC, and there were some patches which helped. But honestly speaking, I mean, the graphics weren't that impressive for a next-gen title. I mean, like Battlefield 4, and this is to a slightly lesser extent the Xbox 360 and PS3, but certainly the Xbox One and PS4 and the PC. You're like, okay, sure, I can understand why they had problems with the resolution, particularly on the first titles. Yes, we can argue that it wasn't optimized, all that jazz, but hey, it looked bloody good. With the PC, even at the sodding highest texture settings, I gotta say, I really wasn't impressed. It just didn't look that good. But then, look who created it. We all know that they are not exactly Mr. Reliables when it comes to Call of Duty, particularly on the PC. So anyway, I think it's fair to say that Sledgehammer have a way to go. But I did a little bit of research on this one. I just read a couple of forums and opinions and all of the normal stuff before I kind of created a video, just to see what generally other people's thoughts, particularly if the news is like a little bit older, like for example this one's been out about a day. So I decided, hey, you know what, I'll have a look around, and this is the problem. we're hearing about, you know, the PS4 version's 1080p, and some Sony people are really happy about that. And don't get me wrong, I'm not taking anything away from Sony. I think it's great, you know, their system's more powerful and 1080p and all of that. However, I will say with a huge caveat, like a star the size of, I don't know, bigger than our sun, basically. The it really depends on resolution. Like, having a high resolution isn't necessarily the same as better performance, because let's face it, if the frame rate dips, but obviously that's one of the rumors that I'm hearing is that the Xbox One version is going to be 886p, but I don't necessarily agree with those rumors. I mean, I could be wrong, and it could be confirmed at 886p, but it's not even released yet. They've still got like a month, so it could be internally running at 886p, but then it could be like a post-day patch which puts it up to 900p or 1080p or 940p, or it could put it to like 721p, which is technically higher than 720, of course. In other words, I don't necessarily believe these rumors, but hey, you know, whatever. I guess 886 is higher than 800. This has got to be a bit of a difficult thing for Microsoft to swallow, however, when you consider that, well, Call of Duty and Xbox, it's basically like saying cheese and crackers. The thing, they just go together so bloody well. I mean, the Xbox 360 version just ruffle stomps in a couple of cases anyway. The PlayStation 3 versions, it was just so much superior. Had better frame rate, in many cases also a much higher resolution, or better anti-aliasing, or better graphics, or whatever, depending on the version. Particularly the earlier versions of COD. There became a better parity towards the end of the two consoles, but particularly like the early to mid, as far as I understand it anyway, and I don't have like the resolution list in front of me, but as far as my memory serves, the Xbox 360 versions were definitely superior. However, I've said all of this, but here's the thing. Going back to what people have said online, and it's very difficult to argue, and this is going back to another video that I made a couple of days ago. It's great that these consoles are handling, you know, there's quite a few games at 1080p, but it's also somewhat laughable in some ways, because we are heading towards 4K. And this is going into how long will these consoles last, right? I mean, how long will they last? Some analysts believe that this is going to be the final consoles and all of that crap, which I don't really believe in, but there are... Basically, what I'm saying is 4K, you know, arguing over 1080p when 4K televisions aren't the normal now, but you can get one for like $1,000, and in 2-3 years' time, you can bet that they're going to be considerably cheaper, particularly as, from what I'm understanding, there's going to be much better panel technology very quickly. Well, who the hell knows? Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. I'll see you soon. Take care, and bye for now.